Hello my dear Scorpio, this is your love and spirituality reading for the time between October 16 and October 31st, 2017 with me, Queen of Cups Tarot. I used the Mary L Tarot with Mary White and I have already shuffled and chosen your cards. So this is my shorter mid-month reading and I will come back with a longer 15 card spread for the beginning of November readings. Then I also use a smaller deck as well. I'm looking still for a replacement for my Legacy of the Divine. I want something equally good, but little new energy, and it's starting to get really worn out. So I'll just tune in for a few seconds to your reading, and then we will continue. Okay, my dear Scorpio, this is your past. It's might go into September, but also the first half of October 2017. So this is Page of Wands. Page of Wands is a rather revolutionary entity, might even borderline to reckless sometime. We can see it's a little bit revolution going on here, but it's a revolution in the service of love. But you also see a sword here and her wand. So the Page of Wands has a very close relation with her soul, so burning with passion, wants to live life fully, might have a lot of things on her mind, a lot of things going on in her life, like a rather hasty energy. It's also about messages, spiritual quests, and we can see that there's peace doves, but also this sword here on the her banner. Okay, so next card for you is Eight of Discs. So Eight of Discs, we see here it's the Lion of the Lamb. The blood of the lamb is worth 2 lions, we used to say. But here I think it's this that you might be more of the lion energy. We know that Scorpio is water, but also fire. You are transform like a sign that might transform from Scorpio to snake to eagle. So snake and eagle, it's kind of a dragon, so serpent in the sky. And this is a card that's really connected to this old legends and symbolism of the lamb, the innocence inside of each and every human being. Eight of Discs is like trying to be good in a world that might tempt you to be less than good. But Eight of Discs is really cooperation with divine forces, like trying to do things better, trying to solve things. Sometimes you might get really tired of it and roar like a lion and maybe destroy everything that you have built up. But with a lamb, it's kind of this innocent part of you that can never be destroyed and tainted, and that wants to fulfill their mission up on earth, wants to yes, kind of do the work. Eights are repetitive, so they are kind of going in this eternity symbol. So it might be a karma that you are trying to solve, something that has been like an issue over the time. And with Page of Wands together with the Eight of Discs, I'm feeling that you have enough energy to be able to solve this, and it's like you have a plan. It's like you have a health plan or a health project, or you're very optimistic about something. You feel that this is like a new beginning, and finally you might have found a solution to a certain problem. Eight of Discs is also cooperation between people. So when it's talking about a relationship, it's like there's not time to let go. There's more things to be worked on, more things to learn as well. The next card is Two of Swords. So it might be that that relationship is put on a halt anyway, or that there needs to be taken some kind of decision. There might also be moral values and yes, like different people have different moral values, and here you need to weigh in those things. That's it's you need to use your judgment, and different people have different judgment. Two of Swords is you need to choose one road or the other. The road of the lion, the road of the lamb, the road of the red lion or the yellow lion. So it's different things. The red lion might be more passionate, more filled with bloodlust, maybe wants revenge. The yellow lion might be more protective of the lamb. Maybe it wants to do something that's more honorable, brave, being cool, stoic, not non-dramatic. So it might be different things here that's picking for your attention, and you really don't know how to choose. It might be a problem that you have to need to solve, and you haven't really found out the solution, but this problem you need to make a choice. And it might be a choice of leaving a situation or finding a mental solution to the problem. We see here it's the swords again, that was also visible here with the Page of Wands. And here you see the swords, but it's also this caterpillar, so it's talking about transformation. And maybe you need to transform. Sometimes Two of Swords is like a really hard decision that when you take it, you will automatically transform. So it might be something that requires a lot of courage, because the Page of Wands has courage. Lions also have courage, and the Two of Swords requires courage. So I think that it's like doing something that gets you a little bit of pulse, but anyway, you know that this is the medicine you need to take or the thing you need to do. But it might be a little bit hesitation here. And the Two of Swords might be careful so you don't cut off relationship unnecessary because you get too dramatic. Maybe falling into this trap of wanting to do revenge, or maybe becoming really cool about something that really matters to you. Maybe you don't want to show people how much it actually do matter. Okay, so next card here, this is for the second part of October. And we have a Three of Wands, and it comes in the reversal. So Three of Wands in the reversal, it's like not finding a solution together with others. It comes underneath the Page of Wands, that's with messages. Three of Wands is usually communication and partnership and agreements, soul contracts, the road ahead, the plan that has been made. So it might be that you are not up for whatever someone else have planned for you, or maybe you're not going to follow through with your plans. Maybe there's something there, maybe you are planning something else. So three of Wands, you can see here the snake is going into the person's eye, so it's some truth that you might need to see, and maybe you don't like it because you have the Two of Swords here as well. Both those cards might be talking about a truth that you don't want to see, or you don't want to see something maybe about yourself, about another person, that you really need to see this to be able to take this decision, or to improve your situation. It might be something that you do also with your passion. We'll see here the middle card here. Yes, Ten of Swords. Ten of Swords, but the first thing I got was this with the revenge again. Don't ever take revenge on someone. Universal law will fix things. That doesn't say that you shouldn't defend yourself and your borders. We have this Jesus kind of quality where you are supposed to turn the other cheek. And that is good. If everyone were like that, we would have peace on earth. But that is also giving people that's predators the the chance to prey on you, to make you a victim. And Ten of Swords is like being a victim to the fullest, like almost dying underneath victimhood or putting someone else to this victimhood. But it might also be that you have some kind of mental structure in your head that needs to go. Old survival skills, old things that might have worked for you before. Because it seems like you were have this very revolutionary energy here and wants to solve things and fix things and everything. But then the Three of Wands and the Two of Swords is like a halt to this energy. So it might be something that you have done before that doesn't seem to work anymore. Maybe you need to go even deeper to find a solution to this kind of problem. Maybe there needs to be a total change. Maybe you need to start to think of things from a totally different perspective. And this with revenge, when we are sometimes you need to state example for people, not out of hate, but if you have a person that for the 15th time don't understand that you have well, you have made an appointment and they don't show up in time for the 15th time, and you have waited like for half an hour or 40 minutes every time. Eventually you might stop showing up. That might be like a revenge, but it's more the consequences of the other person's action. And at some point you need to not trust the person anymore if they proven to not be trustworthy. So you can promise people to change, promise people to do certain things, but maybe you are not, maybe there's very hard for you to do this change. And Ten of Swords is kind of minor arcana, death, and you can see this is a bird that's very connected to death. It's preying on cadavers, like dead things, and it's riding a dead horse, and it has the this one, I don't remember the name in English, but you use it to make harvest anyway, so it's how death harvests the living. So we will see with the next card what this can be more. Okay, Six of Cups. So Six of Cups is some kind of reconciliation. For me, it seems like you're falling out of track. Like you were in some way on track and then you fell off, you did something. It might be that you have joined a health program or healing of some sort, maybe rehab, maybe trying to start to do like exercise or eat right or whatever, and then you kind of failed. And here you are going even deeper to find the reasons to why you had this problem in the first place. So for some of you it might require like psychotherapy, okay, because you have some kind of block here, and it might be from your childhood, something that you do by like automatically when you are in a certain kind of situation, you react in a certain kind of way that might not be that healthy. And here it seems like you have a second chance of looking at this and maybe heal from the bottom up, like heal from, go to this inner child situation, either by like talking with a therapist or maybe dream therapy or hypnosis or regression therapy, going back to the source here. So for some of you it will be like this, and maybe you are in a codependent relationship with someone that has deep mental issues from their childhood. Might even be past life things, with the Six of Cups being the childhood and the past life card. But it seems like there's every chance of healing. They might have fallen off the wagon here, but they are. This is like what's needed to go even deeper. So these things, when you are kind of failing, is actually just making you fall a little bit deeper, so you will reach to the level that actually needs to be healed. So sometimes we can get very bored if we are together with people that has certain habits. Let's say your husband is having an addict when it comes to gamble, and gamble away your car and your house. That might be very tedious, and you don't appreciate when this person fall out the wagon again and do the same thing. This is kind of giving you a sense of hopelessness. And this hopelessness is maybe exactly what's needed to happen for this person to heal. When you give up on them, maybe they need to take more responsibility and become more decisive of dealing with their problem. As long as you hold them underneath their arms, they might not really attend the issue. Of course, we shouldn't abandon people that has this kind of health problem, but sometimes you actually need to give them the right kind of consequences. It's like when you're raising children or train a dog, there needs to be certain consequences, not like hard consequences, but if they made a certain choice, that have a certain consequence. So if they made the choice to gamble away your house, that consequences might be that you leave, and they only get half of the house to you divorce them, and they only get half of the house to give to the one that they own money, and then they are in debt, and you don't care. So it might be a little bit like that. And it might be that if you have this problem, Scorpio, people might start to do this with you, that they want you to go with it to the bottom of the problem. If you promise to go to rehab or to psychotherapy, or to really go to the bottom of the problem, maybe with family therapy or whatever is needed, or at least talking with each other, because this is not talking and this is better kind of connection, then there is help to be found. Okay, we need to reach out, we need to admit to that we have a problem, and then this problem can be solved. But it might also be like for others of you that don't have this kind of great problematic things in your life, it might just be a it might be that some party in a relationship has done a little bit of revolution to prove a point that there needs to be equality, like sharing the burdens, and that they are doing a little bit of silent treatment here until you change your ways, or you are doing revolution and giving someone silent treatment, not as a revenge, just as a consequence. Revenge is not good. It's just giving you karma. I'm just not saying this is out of moral value. It's more about we don't want to have this repetition. We already have a repetition. We don't need to access to that burden. Of course, if we want to take detours and have more karma, and yes, that's fine as well. But here it seems like this giving a person the consequences of their own action might be a part of a healing program. Maybe you have a plan for your partner, for your children, for your sister, for your friend. Like, if I do this, maybe they will understand that they need to reach to deeper levels of themselves and try to help me to fix this problem. So it might be as easy as that you just want someone to open up more and communicate more and participate in the problem solving more, or in the communication. So if they have not been very communicative and you have done all the communication, maybe you stop and see if they will come back with, if they will start to show some interest. Okay. And here we have the future, and we have a 10 of Wands here. So you have the most destructive of the tens. Tens are just like an energy that it's very much of one energy, and it's also you are coming to the conclusive state, like to the end phase of something. 10 of Swords, swords are air, so 10 of Swords might be like a hurricane. 10 of Wands might be like a firestorm. But in this card, both them are riding horses, so we are talking about your instincts, your true feelings, your true expression without so much lies. 10 of Wands and 10 of Swords usually are it's like a situation ending because a person either suppressed their true expression or lies. and you might not tolerate this anymore. This is a no-go with you. So if someone tries this with you, that will be a big no-no. Or if you try this with someone else, you will meet suddenly a fence where there earlier was no fence. Maybe people previously were more understanding towards you, and suddenly they have become very harsh, and you don't understand why. But it's like they have lost their tolerance with you. They think that you are grown up enough now to be able to deal with those things that you are doing. See yourself. It's like people are stopping, holding each other underneath their armpits, and just they are letting you go, or you are letting them go. Page of Wands is messages. 3 of Wands is partnership or messages. 10 of Wands is usually suppression of messages. But we can see here it looks like Sagittarius. So that's very goal-oriented. You're not going to give up. The Wands suit is the hero's journey. So even if you have been abandoned by God and human beings and everything, you're still on the hero's journey. As long as you haven't given up on yourself, you can always change. You are not judged for the rest of your life. So if you want something else for yourself, even if people have abandoned you, you can just change and go in a different direction. You don't have to. It's like the training wheels are coming off for some of you. Or you are taking off the training wheels for someone else. Like now, maybe you have held them and nourished them and pushed them in a certain direction, but now they need to go with their own energy, or you just let it be. It's like you have other better things to do than to put a lot of energy into someone that doesn't want your help or doesn't want to change. Okay. And the next card here is the Tower. So the Tower is, of course, very destructive, but it's happening by divine synchronicity. It's like the divine is helping whoever is stopping with pampering someone. So when you stop pampering someone, also it seems like you're working together with the divine, and they are also stopping pampering that certain someone. And that certain someone might, of course, also be you. 8 of Discs is health programs, and 10 of Swords and the Tower is not showing that it's going particularly well. But the Tower is like tearing everything apart. This 10 of Swords is ending everything. So you will have a possibility of a new start. So you might feel very harsh here. You might lose partnerships or relationships that has been very valuable to you. And first, maybe you were not, maybe you were okay with it first. If it was you that did this revolution, you were okay with it and everything was fine. But here in the future, it will start to heat up a little bit. It will hurt a little bit more, but it's also making you more convinced that what you need to do to solve this. So for some of you, it might also be that you are a little bit surprised, or you don't care that people are kind of turning away from you, but eventually it will hit like home, and that is when the medicine starts to work, because when we face consequences of our own action, we also get the kind of the ignition to change, if that is needed to happen. But it seems like there's healing, like from the bottom up. Something in your foundation needs to heal. You have like an automatic reaction to things that's actually not very prosperous for you in your life, and you need to find better ways. One way to not react in a certain pattern every time something happens. Some people might have aggression problems, for example. Page of Wands might be a very reckless person that doesn't care if they break things or end things, or people are hating them or whatever. They just do whatever they do, and they do so for a reason. And it's their programming, their condition. But if this person starts to every time they find them, say, like getting more aware of what you are doing and what you are feeling, so you're not just acting in a repetitive pattern like a robot, but okay, now I'm feeling like a person having an aggression problem. Instead of every time you get very like feeling anger, you need to start to scream. In the beginning, you can just notice this. Okay, I'm getting very angry and now I have started to scream. Fine. So notice this. Just notice this. You don't have to judge yourself for it. Just notice it. Maybe notice also the consequences, what is happening when you start yelling. And then eventually you will be as aware so you can take like another decision. So that is a healing that's happening just because you become aware of what is happening. So you will become equally angry, but you will, like you have trained to become more and more aware. So you see, okay, here the anger comes. You have trained so you know how it feels like just before. You have trained so you feel how it feels just under, and also how it feels to burst out in screaming, and also how it feels afterwards. So you have seen all this. You have great experience with this. You have been aware for the last 10 times this had happened. So eventually you just feel, okay, now I'm going to get very angry. So I count to 10 and I say to my wife or my husband or my children that, okay, mom, dad is going to go for a walk. Because I'm feeling like overwhelmed. I know we are going away to football training or whatever. I'm just going to take a walk around the block. And you go and you take a walk around the block and you just feel the anger. And you just feel it. And if necessary, you can also be childish and kick something, maybe a football or whatever. But to just steam off the adrenaline, because you don't want that running around in your blood system. That might cause a lot of stress. People that's holding back a lot of anger, they usually get very stressed if this is sometimes this is suppression, like there's too much of fire, so you try to hold it back. You're not supposed to hold it back. You're supposed to feel it, like feel the flame burning in your chest or wherever it wants to take residence, and just feel it. And when you put attention to something like this, you start to heal it, because your eye is where you have your eye, your attention. That's love. Okay, so it's self-love to give yourself this kind of attention. And eventually you might even like get a reminiscing or remembering why you are this angry in the first place. Maybe that was the only way to get heard in your family. Or maybe it helped when you were lying on the floor in the store and crying for candy. Maybe your parents got candy to you. So it might have helped at some point, but it's an old skill that it doesn't feel any purpose just right now. It just seems to be very self-destructive. So just do this, become aware. And this is the road to enlightenment. Maybe not in this, the fire will come first, and that's the holy fire of an enlightenment, and it will be very painful, but just go through it and try to endure like longer and longer time with having your attention at the pain and the anger and all the hurt. The more you can, it's like cleaning out the basement, and you just need to be aware of what it's feeling for this basement to be cleaned. So it's very straightforward and simple. So the last card here is 8 of Cups. So 8 of Cups traditionally is a person leaving old relationships and things behind. But here it seems like you get some kind of I feel self-love when I'm holding this card. I also feel like I'm protecting me. I'm protecting myself. I understand myself. Well, I am a roaring lion, but there's also good qualities with me. So some of you might have you have decided like I am what I am, and it's no way there's going to be any change here. And this is like not true, and here comes the change. It's like you are growing, and you are growing like spirit in a spiritual sense. So I think this is very healthy, and you have 2 8s here, 8 of discs, 8 of cups. So it's like you're trying something new in your relationship. You're trying another way of doing things, and for some of you, you might leave destructive relationship because you want something new. you're sacrificing this without a doubt. And for others of you, the sacrifice that other has made of you and your relationship might be a wake-up call for you to become more your true self, instead of just being this reaction, this automatically a reaction that you might have had. And yes, and I see reconciliation, but it seems mostly to be with yourself. Like you're forgiving yourself and starting to understand yourself and give more attention to yourself, and not just blocking out things and going on this automatic repeat. Okay, so I will take a card for the Death and Ten of Swords I meant. And here we have Breathe Deeply. So Breathe Deeply is a card about having the right to live, having the right to be alive, having the right to find your true bliss. So this change that's coming here with the Page of Wands going to the Eight of Cups is... it's like you first are not very fond of yourself or not very supportive of yourself, because you might have done things that you regret, or others might have done things to you that you regret letting them do those things. So you might feel either weak or tainted in some way, but what's happening here is actually giving you the promise, or it's like a salvation, like you're feeling like it's okay to be you, and not this programmed you, but the real you. So take 3 deep breaths and feel like this life energy filling your body. And it's never too late for second chances. Even if you're 70 years and this is happening to you, or 90 years and this is happening to you, whenever you lost this childlike state and became grown up, maybe due to some trauma or some pain that happened to you, it's like that little entity became frozen in time in that age, what you were then. So when you pick it up and start to nourish and heal it again from that dark basement, it's going to be in that age. So some of you are going to have very childlike behavior, even though you're 70 or 90 years old. But it's like a part of you that you might have had to kill off for surviving. So pretending like I don't feel like that, or I don't want that, or I don't have compassion, or I don't have a heart. I also want to see like the flipped over 3 of Wands, what that might be. And we have a fairy ring, so that seems very good. Fairy ring, see here. The vibration emitted from a fairy ring is like a soft caress or kiss on the cheek. It is of fun and freedom and a childlike essence of magic. It is the folklore and mystic tales behind the truth that you know. Be as a child, go barefoot and play freely and magically without restrictions or boundaries. For now is your time to be unconventional and eccentric while others look on. So it might have been this energy that people didn't like, and you have it in the reverse here, 3 of Wands. So for some of you, this might have been, this is an energy that you really should nourish and try to reconnect to. For others, it has been your escape to always be very revolutionary and go against the flow. And by that, like, I don't need your love, I don't need to be like you. So you need to see where your extremes are and kind of balance those extremes a little bit. So either show more of your childlike true nature, or maybe downplay it a little bit, because maybe you have done it as a like a protection against love. If I'm like this, no one will love me, and they don't love me anyway, so I can be like this. It's no idea. It's giving up a little bit on yourself. Also I want to check the Tower, of course, together with the 10 of Wands energy. Yes, it's too many cards. One, please. One card for the Tower. Oh, thank you. Okay. There's a lot of cards here, but I'm obedient, so I will read this for you. So, arid wastelands. Are you a desert, a wasteland, and need to create balance? Generate your own oasis where you can go and heal yourself. This can be an actual place or somewhere that you feel is peaceful. Allow other vibrations to help to heal you. It is your choice to be at this place. Only you can change the vibration and be free. So it's a little bit what I said. Some of you might have taken the choice that no one will love me, so I can be like this. And you go on a self-destructive path, and you don't need to. There's better things. You can just change your life right now. But first you need to heal to have the strength to change your life. And this is Muse. Sometimes in life we find someone who inspires us to do amazing things. They feed us gently Muse vibration, taking us outside our safe and familiar environment into uncharted territory. Enjoy this reflective interlude and be open to what it brings forth at this time. Contemplate what is already within you, just waiting to get out. So this might be the energy I was talking about, like someone has nurtured you, but then they let go of you, because we have the Tower here. And that might also be an inspiration for you to take. It's like growing up. Forces of nature, it of course resembles the Tower card a lot. So, forces of nature. If you ever watched a thunderstorm, you will have seen that when it reaches its peak, the crack of thunder and electrical vibration flows from heaven to earth in a momentary flow, reconnecting and energizing it from within. Then it passes, allowing a stillness to open up, letting us know all is calm and refreshed. Don't fight what cannot be controlled. Just go with this. You can't prevent this Tower from happening, so you need to let it happen. It's on the divine scale, divine synchronicity. So whatever going on, it's there for a reason. So just let it destroy your life until only the foundation is left. Or if it stops earlier, that's fine too. So, old pattern, old ways. These traits no longer serve you and you know it. Now it's a time to tear up the blueprint and reconfigure it to what you now need in your life. The vibration of change is refreshing and should be embraced. Accept the exciting new programs you will write for yourself. Pull out a piece of paper and renew and rewrite your contract with yourself. So this we have already discussed, that there's no like setting. Nothing is written in stone. If you just heal yourself, you can change whatever is going on in your life. You can change it tomorrow. But first, healing. Be aware. Give attention also to your problematic behavior or other people's problematic behavior. Just see what they are doing, and by that learning more. Don't be so reactive. Okay, future vision for Scorpio. We have this making a jump and falling backwards. So it might be some of you is trying to solve this in a very logic way, but it needs to be connected with the heart. You can't solve it in a logic way. You need to solve it by healing your inner child, the most fragile part of you. So future vision for Scorpio. Okay, we have two cards. There's a lot of messages coming through for you. So we have this 47 and the 46. So it's also connected by numbers. Healing seems to be one thing. When death arrives, we come to heaven and we are healed by the angels. So you don't have to die to do this. It's like you take a pause with your life. Maybe there has been going on a lot of stuff and you need to withdraw a little bit and to get healed. And it's this symbol is resembling the tail in the lion here. So that's a little bit interesting. It's some power ring. It's some forceful to find your strength. It doesn't have to be a destructive. Strength doesn't have to be destructive. It can be very calm, very still. I think many of you maybe are rushing around. Maybe you need to create a ring of stillness around you. And if you can't be still, that's really a tattletale about you being very hurt. So it takes small seconds of time to just feel it. Like a little bit like, oh, how does it feel? Oh, awful. Okay, you drop out again. And then you go back and you feel. And so eventually you will be more brave and be able to face whatever feels within. And you can stay with it longer and longer time, giving it more and more healing with your attention. And also here, it's this future of yours. There's first you need to get to know yourself. You need to get the puzzle of who you really are, like the deep cores of you. Also pieces, like parts of you that has gone missing because of traumatic events needs to come back. And this cat also talking about your strength, the tail of the lion. It's like that is one part of you that you shouldn't sacrifice, this self-love and trusting yourself. Even if everyone else has stopped trusting you, trust yourself, because this trust is going to make you more stable when you trust and align with yourself and excuse yourself for everything that's happening. Like, okay, now I burst out in like fiery arguments again. I know I'm not supposed to, but okay, I was a little bit more aware this time, so we stopped a little bit earlier. Kudos to me. And there's a lot of bridges here, so don't burn any bridges, and remember to if you are in the position that you can say to a person, I'm sorry, you should do that, because it's a very healing word, and it's healing both you and the other person and proving you to be the bigger person. And also there comes a lot of chances here, and you're getting pieces from the puzzle from many different experience that you might do. You might need to look at things from an above perspective. Okay, Scorpio, I hope this helped. I want you to take really good care, and hopefully we meet again for the beginning of November reading that I will publish in the middle of October. Okay, bye-bye.